So welcome to the first day of our brand new series. We're launching a new series today. Over the next 3 months, we're going to be looking at each aspect of our being. So we'll focus on one a month. This month, we're focusing on body. In what's next month? August. It'll be all about the mind, and then in September, it'll be all about spirit. Now, of course, you can't really separate these aspects. You know, they're all intertwined, so there'll be overlap. But the idea is to learn to realize as much wholeness as we can in each area, and then to align all of the levels with our highest vision so that we can realize our highest vision. Sound good? Want to go there with me? Okay, okay, good. So to start us off as a kind of introduction, I thought we would talk about how we can develop the ability to listen to and to connect with each of these aspects, because that's really the beginning of healing. And today, I thought maybe I'd talk of the timely topic of self-care. Because maybe the last few weeks, the last bit of time has been full of all kinds of stuff. Bad news, devastating news, devastating events, and stress, right? And maybe there's been stress in your own life, in your family, or your finances, or your health, or whatever. And, you know, it feels like we've emerged from this pandemic to a world of overinflated prices and mass shootings, and, we just get our kids back into school, and then, we got to worry about that. And then, of course, the whole string of Supreme Court stuff I'm not going to talk about, but we know the one in particular that, they all affect us, but, taking away a woman's fundamental reproductive rights is it's pretty devastating. So, it's enough to make you either turn into a raging maniac or just to, check out altogether, right? Hide your head under a pillow or move to a remote island somewhere permanently. Margaritaville, here we come. Nova Scotia, that's good. I've been there. I love that. Yeah, good locks. Yeah. But I promise you that, learning the skills, we really can learn to cope with all of these stressors and more, and proper self-care can really get us there. It can really, really help us to get there. And it is sort of that place where we can begin to really, and Chris did a really beautiful job of the whole mindfulness part of that in the meditation, and that's definitely a large part of it. So self-care can help us not just survive, but thrive. And isn't that one of the reasons we're here, to thrive? We want to thrive, and no outer experience, no external thing is going to take that from us, right? I am here to thrive. Let's say that together. I am here to thrive. I am here to thrive. Yeah. So let's just sort of dig in now into this. So we know that self-care. The phrase self-care has been sort of co-opted by the beauty and wellness industry. It has, really. And it's a huge industry. In fact, a 4 trillion with a T industry. And they want to conflate self-care with pampering. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. I love a good pamper. I love pampering. I have a vision of going to a spa, like a whole spa day, but we want to make sure that we're not confusing self-care with pampering. So has anybody seen the Parks and Recreation episode of treat yourself. Okay, she's laughing. You've seen it. Okay, it's not a show I watch, but I saw this a bit of it on YouTube because it's kind of gone viral. So, and this is when I'd really love to be able to play a clip from this. So in lieu of that, I'll have to kind of explain it and act it out a bit. So bear with me. Okay, thank you. So the two employees, it's Donna and I forgot his name, and they're at, I guess, the Parks and Rec office, and she's sitting behind a desk, and her friend comes up and delivers one of those little pink pastry boxes, and she opens it up, and in it are 3 cupcakes with the words "treat yo self." And apparently, this is like an annual event that they do, one day a year, they just go hog wild. They do everything, right? And so they get up and do this routine, and there's somebody with a boombox over there, and so she's standing here, and he's standing next to her, and she says, "Cupcakes." And he says, "Treat yourself." And she says, "Massages. Treat yourself. Mimosas, treat yourself. Fragrances, treat yourself. Fine leather goods, treat yourself." So it's just a fun way to kind of show that, is it really? We want to know what it really is. And a lot of products and services brand themselves as self-care in order to sell. And boy, it works. I've got a lot of products and, I've spent a lot of money doing things that, are promoting of self-care. So we want to see that there is a difference between self-care and self-indulgence. Also, some things that I see, sometimes people use it as an excuse, to excuse them from their responsibilities, right? "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that after all because I'm doing my self-care over here." Well, we want you to do your self-care, but not at the expense of what you've already agreed to, which is different than setting boundaries, so we're going to talk about that. So true self-care really keeps ourselves aligned, keeps ourselves healthy and aligned. And it's really about healing. It's self-healing. And all self-healing begins with self-awareness. So we want to kind of check in with ourselves throughout the day and ask ourselves, how am I feeling? What's my stress level right now? On a scale of 0 to 10, what's my level of anxiety? Am I kind of spiraling into some self-criticism or maybe judgment of others? Oh, hello. I'm hearing an echo of myself. Is this working? Is this on? Oh, okay. We're good? Okay. Where was I? So we're asking ourselves questions. How do I feel? Am I getting into a place of negativity and a place of judgment? Am I feeling pain anywhere in my physical body or my emotional body and trying to ignore it and then pushing myself through it? I'm guilty of that. Or do I feel disconnected from God or from my spiritual source right now? So we want to develop an ability to effectively listen to our body, our mind, and our spirit. We want to develop that ability. And good self-care really can be the difference between just surviving and thriving. It's about keeping our cup full. Keeping our own cup full so that we can be present and available in our lives. So we can be present with others, and hold the space for others. Well, we need to keep our cup full for that, right? I got to have my cup full in order to be of service to you, and this is true for everybody, right? So how do we do that? What does that mean to keep our cup full? Well, it can definitely be participating in something that gives us joy, right? What makes you happy? Not just temporarily, but really something that adds, healing energy to your body, your mind, and your spirit. So for some people, it's meditation. I'm talking about doing things on a regular basis now, right? So regular meditation, yoga, communing with nature, walking in the woods, walking in our fabulous outdoor sacred spaces. Some people find that tremendously fills their cup, right? For some people, it's gardening. For some people, it's playing a rousing game of tennis or pickleball. For other people, it could be playing an electric guitar or riding a Harley, It's different for everybody. So whatever it is that brings you into the present moment, and where that sense of timelessness, where you lose track of time, and you get out of your head, and it's feeding your heart. You know what it is, right? It's just you may need a little encouragement to incorporate that into your daily life, into a real routine. I was talking to a friend last week who was homesick, and she said, I don't know why I have to wait till I'm sick to slow down and to read a good book and to watch inspirational videos. Right? I see a lot of shaking heads there. We can all relate to that. Why do we need to give ourselves a reason to give ourselves joy? So the other part of this is, I mentioned boundaries, right? Self-care can be about establishing boundaries and not overextending ourselves. Again, we need to kind of pay attention to where we are with this. And we also want to discern the difference between overextending ourselves and that feeling of stretching ourselves and growing, which can be really uncomfortable when we're growing and stretching and spreading our wings. That can be uncomfortable. So we want to discern the difference between those two things. And this whole idea of setting boundaries and balance, it's really keeping a balance and really living that, not just giving lip service to it. So, when I had my babies, my twin babies, I had already had a long time meditator. So I've had a meditation practice. It was absolutely essential for me. My babies were fussy. There's just no getting around it. And I see people come in here with, really good babies, and they don't cry, and they're like the Buddha babies, and I'm like, I don't know what that's like. I just don't know. I had two that were fussy. So, and I wanted to be a good mother, right? So I had to keep the meditation practice. So I had to get up early enough, before they started crying to get that, it was early. Let me tell you. And honestly, sometimes I would meditate when I was feeding them, that worked, and I think they were feeling the energy with that too, right? And then, also we were in a place where we didn't have any grandparents, but fortunately we were in a place that we could have somebody come in and spell me so that I could go and take a run in the park and be in nature or go shopping or have a massage, right? So, and then I came back, and then my cup's full, right? I'm ready to go. Give me those fussy babies. I'm ready to be with them. So find what that is for you, right? What is it that really pushes your edges? And how can you find the thing to keep your cup full so that you can be present, like feeling like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take this on. So speaking of the, this, area of balance, and we need to pace ourselves with the current stuff that's going on in the world. We need to pace ourselves. Probably watching CNN all day is not a good idea. Although those hearings are very compelling. But, it's just not good. I mean, it's just TV news in general, I don't know. They're the images that they play over and over, and they kind of go into our subconscious. So I would read a newspaper. We need to support good journalism anyway. It's an endangered species. So, and as I've shared here before, as Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is my teacher, he used to say, the front page of the newspaper, that's your prayer list for the day. It's your prayer list. And I see it also as it's the manifestation of our collective consciousness at this time. What's happening in the world is a manifestation of our collective consciousness. And as I heard at the Chris's graduation ceremony, and somebody said, it's a manifestation of our collective sickness. So we have a choice. Do we want to perpetuate this? Do we want to let this continue? And worse? Or do we want to show up in our power as co-creators and help to shift the collective consciousness? Help to shift. We can do this. We can do it individually, but have more power together to help shift the collective consciousness, envisioning a world that's more loving and inclusive and peaceful and harmonious. Envisioning a world that works for everyone. Isn't that good? Let's affirm that together. I envision a world that works for everyone. Yeah. And then we take action, and we move forward in that direction as we're called, right? But again, we need to pace ourselves with all of this. The other piece of this is the mindfulness piece that Chris so beautifully shared in the meditation. That's, it's developing that mindfulness practice and self-compassion. Compassion for our experiences, for our feelings, even the painful ones. So to do that kind of requires us to read the signals, to be in touch with what we're feeling. You can't heal what you can't feel. So we want to kind of be in touch with that and develop a method that can help us be present with our feelings, even the painful ones, and not, run away or try to numb them, which is a natural instinct. No one wants to feel pain. But as, it's been a long lesson for me. But, I'm beginning to get this, that pain has something to teach us. I am learning this. I know pain has something to teach me. So we want to develop that method. And mindfulness is a skill that can help us get there. I'm hearing some beautiful music. I'm not quite sure what that's coming from somebody's phone or... Okay, there we go. So I want to share this book that I have been reading by Kristen Neff called Self-Compassion, The Proven Power of Being Kind to Yourself. Proven Power of Being Kind to Yourself. Isn't that a great title? And in it she says, mindfulness brings us back to the present moment and provides that type of balanced awareness that forms the foundation for self-compassion. Like a clear, still pool without ripples, mindfulness perfectly mirrors what's occurring without distortion. Rather than becoming lost in our own personal soap opera, mindfulness allows us to view our situation with greater perspective, helps ensure that we don't suffer unnecessarily. We don't suffer unnecessarily because we can do that, So mindfulness helps us to recognize and identify our thoughts, our feelings, what's going on in our body, but at the same time, to know that we're not our thoughts and our feelings and what's going on in our body. That doesn't define us. It's not who we are. It's a passing thing. It's temporary, right? So to observe them mindfully, helps us get perspective when we don't blow things out of proportion and we don't pile stuff on top of the original thing and suddenly we're catastrophizing or we feel out of control. That being able to mindfully observe something helps us to just be present to it, realize we're not that, right? And that we can unhook. It doesn't have a hold on us. So mindfulness is a really important part of self-care. Really important part. So let's have a little practice of this right now, a little taste of. And I know a lot of you have how many of you have a practice of mindfulness that you do on a regular basis? Wow, a lot. Okay. This is great. It's great. It pays dividends in so many areas, don't you think? Yeah. All right, so let's just take a moment and sit back, and you can close your eyes if you want, but you don't have to. Just take a nice deep breath and become aware, first of all, of your breath. How deep is it? How shallow is it? Don't try to change it. Just become aware of it. Feel maybe the heat in your nose, your mouth. Is it hotter going in, cooler? Is it cooler going in, hotter going out, or the opposite? Just notice it. Now, become aware of yourself sitting in the chair. Feel your body in the chair. Is it comfortable? Is there any discomfort? Feel your bum in the seat. Is there more pressure on one side than the other? Or is it getting numb? Or is it okay? You're comfortable? Now, bring your awareness to your feet and your feet in your shoes. Is it comfortable? Is it tight? Is it like a comfortable shoe? See, I feel some freedom and space in there. Feel your feet on the floor, touching, connected with the earth there. And bring your awareness to any part of your body that might feel uncomfortable. Is there any part of your body that feels uncomfortable? And we're just noticing it, right? We're just noticing it. Just feel what that feels like. Any tightness or discomfort or pain, This is a practice that we're observing mindfully without judgment. Now become conscious that you're bringing your awareness there. Become aware that you're aware. Take a nice deep breath and bring yourself back here. Now, who or what is becoming aware? What is the part in you that's becoming aware that you're aware? It's your consciousness, right? Your consciousness, or the self with a capital S, or your higher self. It's not your body. It's not your mind. It's not anything. It's not your past. It's not your experiences. It's your consciousness. That higher divine self has the awareness. And so this can really help us to be present in the moment without judging it, without kind of, resisting it, thinking, it shouldn't be this way. Just our highest consciousness, our highest self, being aware of awareness, being aware that it's aware of other things. And this can really help us As we encounter situations, and can help us to respond rather than to react. And that puts us into a place of peace, right? So in your program, there is a handout that I have for you that has reminders of what we talked about, different ways that you can practice self-care. I find I need reminders. I can hear it one day and go, oh, that's great, but then forget tomorrow. So keep this with you. Keep the reminder with you. And if anything that you do, that you practice, that you find works, write it on there too. So let's look at it for just a second. So the first is participating in things that give us joy, right? Joyful experiences that add healing. Incorporating in your daily life things that keep your cup full. And daily life, not just once in a while, but your daily life. Establish boundaries. Find good balance. And, just be able to distinguish the difference between extending and I'm growing. Pace yourself with current events. We can't heal what we can't feel. Develop the skill of mindfulness. That really helps us understand what's going on. And practice self-compassion. That should be number one. Compassion for what we're all going through and our feelings about it all and what we're thinking about it and our experiences. For all of it, we want to practice compassion and open our hearts to ourselves like we do for others, right? In fact, this is a good book if you want to pick this up. I'll share this on the website or something. Self-compassion. All right. Namaste.